Welcome to the Phoenix Vault. This is not a perfectly packaged self-help podcast. In reality, this is a living conversation. We let our thoughts unfold in real time. We circle ideas. We go off on tangents. We deeply question ourselves. And most importantly, we slow down before landing on our answers. If you're looking for a five-step and strong conclusions, most likely you'll be disappointed here. And so I encourage you to keep moving on. But if you are craving honest, nonlinear conversations that help you find your own true, resonant yes deep inside yourself, then you're in the right place. So let's enter the vault. Hello, everybody. So today in this video, or if you're just listening to audio, I have Cameron Hall with me, and Cameron is a just beloved friend. I just love her dearly. And so she is going to be my co-guide through our next cohort of the Phoenix Method. And so we're just going to start talking like we normally talk, to give you guys a little taste of what it might be like to come and spend some time with us and grow with us. So you want to say anything before we dive into our topic for the day, Cameron?
Yes, hello everybody. It's great to be here. And I have to say, Shivani's been so amazing in my growth and along helping me along the process of finding out what's inside of me and what works for me and being able to start tuning out the voices outside of myself and find the voices that speak to me, that speak to that inner voice and finding out what's noise and what's actual the signals, the messages out there that are actually valid for me
Yeah, I love it.
and just such a great support system. So thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be
Well, thank
here.
you. And one of the things that you like anybody who spends much time with either of us are going to find is that it's just like anything that could be said in appreciation is 100% there on the other side. It's just been a joy, and it's awesome being able to spend time with like-minded individuals who one of the things we were talking about before we got on camera, for example, is who want to hold themselves accountable, who want to look deep inside themselves and really become connected with their actions, with what it is that they're doing in their life. And essentially that's what the Phoenix method encourages in individuals, but it's also just a part of some people's natural state of being. Like you were talking about inner intelligence, that's a fancy word for our inner knowing, like a part of us that just knows. And some of us, many of us that have a strong relationship to that, like we were never allowed to really nurture it. A lot of people told us, oh, that's silly, that's wrong, it's stupid. One of the things we were talking about is how somebody might come up and say, hey, get over it. It's not really that hard. You make poor decisions. And yet, if they spent, a few moments with us, then they might end up completely understanding the complexity of actually every single decision that we make.
Right. When you just, yeah, live by normal society rules where you just kind of judge everybody from your own perspective rather than walking in their shoes can really change how you deal with people. Because if you can then maybe right, put yourself in their shoes and see, enter their worlds and enter their head and see what they're thinking, see what they're feeling, and then you can find out that maybe it's not so black and white. It's more of this gray area, and making that a snap decision about somebody just really hurts both of you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know about you, but like as we're saying it, it's just also so interesting because I can see myself like because of not really having the support in um like of this whole tribal kind of world that of really deep thinkers in my upbringing. Like there was a lot of very spiritual or religious individuals or whatever, but there weren't a lot of individuals that they could be like, okay, this one, she's the deep thinker. We need to just put her in over here by Nana so and so and let her spend some time there so that they can ponder the, meaning of the universe from the time she's 3 years old or something like that. So when you're not really in that environment, it's easy to see um, how confused you can become when the rest of the world around you is saying, hey, you know what? That's just not that hard. You're making this a bigger deal than it is. Just do it. That's whatever. Then pretty soon you find yourself in this situation where you feel diminished. You feel small. And maybe you've even found yourself in what a lot of people are saying are like abusive sort of situations or relationships because nobody really explained or taught or even provided you the space to allow those things to move in a healthful way.
Right? Like it's not appreciated because I didn't grow up with the spiritual and the any of that stuff around. I grew up in a like, this is the way you do it. There's one way to do it. My way is the right way. And if you're doing it somewhere, some way else, you're wrong. And I know I'm not alone in that situation. And it really does. It takes so many years to get away from that. And this course has helped me so much. To to say it's okay to have my own opinion that's different than somebody else, to say it's to explore, be like, oh, you think differently, like I'm curious, like how does that work, how do you see things, why do you see things, and then it like and people can then appreciate you because like I feel like I'm underappreciated in my family because they don't because I my thinking is different than theirs and I'm more of an explorer and a thinker and I want to like dive deep into the world's mysteries, into the mysteries of myself and others. And other people just want to, they just want to go to work and get their job done and look good to the outside world. And, so they can't appreciate maybe because it's scary, maybe because they don't, they're scared of what's different. And it's neat to be able to just slowly come to a point where you can start seeing that other people's ideas, values, and beliefs are valuable.
Yeah. It is interesting because I think about how much of the change in our collective mind is what's also bringing this about. Like deep thinkers used to be a thing, in the early 1900s before there was all this technology. There were profoundly deep individuals that liked to, again, really ponder things before just snapping into reactions. So one of the ones that right now that we're talking about is, should I stay with a man or should I leave this man? Like what is the thing when everybody around is saying you should do this. He is this. He is that. He's to blame, blah, 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 blah. Everything is always about this external problem and just solve this thing outside of yourself, where some of us actually are wired to really understand what's taking place inside of us first. So that then when we do go out, because we're sensitive, because I don't know, we're careful with what we say, because when people say things to us in certain ways, it's harmful or it hurts us. So we're careful. And then we're in this like topsy-turvy or so dysregulated because we're attempting to accomplish something, but we just need more time. And more time isn't available in our day-to-day world. It's hurry up, figure it out. You're getting left behind, everything's speeding up. And I remember you saying that, like the first step was just slow down. Or something like that. The first step of joining in on this was slow down. And you're like, really? I can do that.
Yeah, the best thing was don't do anything right now. We're just here to, which is almost a little play on words because we are bringing our awareness to things is actually doing something, but not in that standard sense of doing things like forceful. It's more of like a gentle doing things, or maybe the being of things. I don't know the exact words, but yeah, like the relationship thing you brought up, like it becomes this black and white from the outside world. Like this is good, this is bad, this is bad, get out of it, this is good, whereas there's actually so many lessons in that quote unquote bad. And like maybe you're working out something and you just need to sit with yourself and find, right, you got to dig out those seeds and figure out where it all came from in order to then release. Because if you get out too soon, you're just most likely going to fall back into a similar situation that might even be worse. Because I do feel like the universe is like, like, hey, did you get it? Hey, did you get it? Okay, bam, after a series, maybe it takes a while but at some point it's just gonna slam you and be like, all right, this situation is gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse until you figure out the reason why you keep getting yourself into this situation.
Yeah. So you said it, and it's something that I say as well, that how you got yourself into this situation. A lot of times that makes people like, "Ah," because I didn't choose to have
Right?
somebody speak badly to me. I didn't choose, I wasn't purposefully trying to do those things. And I get that because, man, I definitely didn't choose to have my body betray me. But boy, when it did, yet when I started really slowing down and unwinding, there were a lot of things that I was doing that was making that um like that situation like
Right? Attract to you or
potential
something.
for it to take place.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of ways in which
Right.
I wasn't taking good care of myself. And yet I expect somebody else to love me and nurture me when I don't even see that same value inside myself.
Oh my
You
gosh, so true. Right, right. Because that's part of you're in that relationship to you need someone who treats you so poorly and does not show you, or they maybe they say they love you, but they're not actually showing you real love. Maybe we need like maybe I needed that. Let me take some ownership. Maybe I needed that in order for it to like get me to that breaking point of because I've gotten to that. What did I allow in my life? Like, why do I, and then like, oh, well, because you don't think very highly of yourself too. You think this is all you deserve. This is all, this is all there is. This is all you deserve until you start sitting there and thinking and realizing, oh, wait, there is more out there. And maybe if I did love myself, like I'm looking for somebody else to love me, but what I need is to love myself and maybe have the love of the universe, know that it's there all around me at all times. So I think there's a point if you do slow down and take the steps and are willing to do the hard work. It's not easy,
I love
but for me it's really not easy to it would be really hard to ignore all of this stuff and just pretend.
Yeah. I really loved when you just said that, let the universe love me for a while. That was part of my spiritual awakening. I was given a meditation technique and it kind of embodied something along those lines, but I made it bigger than anybody else ever did. And interestingly enough, Shivani means like wife of God. And it was all happening at this time when I was having this horrific relationship. I just felt completely underneath the thumb of my ex-husband, and like there was just nothing that I could do of any value and all of this kind of stuff. And then here I am, I'm start embarking on my spiritual life, and the name that was given to me was the wife of God. And in my mind, it was like, because this is the type of love and attention that you deserve. And this is what you're allowing. This is what you're accepting. This is what you like, what is your inheritance? And this is what you're allowing to come through. And you're doing that. Like you're squeezing off that amount of that. So it was interesting because for like many years, that was my primary relationship. Like I had to really look at that like an omniscient being, if there was such a thing, that created all humanity and all people and all times and that loved me in that way, then would I be doing what I'm doing right now? This entity loves me anyway, even if I'm going to do bad things that hurt me. But would I be doing it if I had that love? That was the part that was different. If I have it, and I always have it, but if I'm in my decision making point, would I be doing this thing if I knew I had that? And so I always had to start making it to where I started knowing that this love was there for me before I started allowing it to come from other individuals.
Right, I think that's a great tactic because like I mean, that love from the universe, it's so pure, it's so unconditional. It's there, like you said, no matter what, whether we do quote unquote good things, bad things. And, if we can love ourselves that way, then we can then know what when true love is coming at us, or if it's a false love, someone just is I can't think of the terms, but they're she'll throw in all these things on us like, oh, you're so great, you're so blah blah blah, like, but it's not real love. It's just they're trying to manipulate you into something. So I think when you can embody that love of the universe, that pure, that unconditional, you can then be like, oh wait, no, no, not you, no, no, thank you, I don't need that kind of love.
Mhm.
And then, you know, you start to learn what real love is and what it should feel like.
And the beautiful thing is, because again, one of the topics there is there's not a right or a wrong way. Because if we're not accepting that love inside of ourselves, then just changing our external environment isn't the answer necessarily. Can it be? Yes. And so if you want to change it, change it. But if you're in this, like, I don't know, how often, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but I have had it so many times now. I just want to scream it from the mountaintops that when I was really able to allow myself that love on the inside, that the person on the in my external world could almost like miraculously change into something like a whole new side of them just because I was willing to claim it for myself. Do you know what I mean? And then they could claim a little bit for themselves.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's kind of like a parallel to when, you know, like someone's, I guess, breadcrumbing you is the term. Like you're like, I'm so tired of this person, I'm done. And then you get a phone call or a text or something. And you're like, how did you know that I was like just about to ditch out? So like, yeah, it's interesting that we could do it with the positive too, of
Mhm.
like how you can change and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, I love myself. And they can like maybe feel, I don't know, does it change? It's like it changes both of us, right? Like you're right. Like it opens them up to like, wow, this person is showing me love or showing themselves love. How cool. Maybe I want a little taste of that. That looks good.
And if not, then that's cool. Then we know, right? But
Yeah, yeah, right.
but at least when we step into that place that I like just even behaviors or what have you, like we become I was actually talking to a woman this morning who's been in a kind of on again, off again relationship with a woman who is a superior in her world. And but it's a love relationship. And there's some hate in there too, but it's love. I mean, they love each other. Anyways, right now they're in a moment where they haven't talked for a little bit. And one of them is having to reach out to the other one. And so while I was talking to the one who's feels in the small spot and she has to reach out to the one who's her superior, the bigger, whatever. And we were talking about, so it's been lots of years, almost 2 decades that they've had this experience together. And it was just so easy. Like when we finally could soften all of the defenses and come to a place of, but you do just love her. And she loves you too. So sometimes you guys are turds to each other, you just say bad things that it's not nice at all. And you know what? We've had that relationship too. And here we are, we're loving on each other. So it's possible that this individual who's your superior, who doesn't seem like she's ever going to change or grow because she's already, whatever, could also change and grow with you. And it was amazing because you could almost see how the thought process was that there was no potential for that to happen, to just doors flying open because that love inside of the young woman wanted it so deeply. So I feel like that is also an ingredient in our relationships that aren't often brought up in the quick social media kind of things, is where the two individuals, like, they just can't help when they get to that experience of love with for each other, no matter how bad or the yucky things around that relationship, when they get to that love, it is so profound that all of the other stuff are, I mean, like, that's the forgiveness of a mother or a father or a best friend. We forgive those mistakes and they're gone forever. Like she was able to touch on
Yeah,
that, and you could see how a whole new universe was there. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
right. It's almost like we encapsulate that kind of love inside of ourselves. And then like whenever and the other person's encapsulated and you get nearer and then it's like magnets are pushing you apart because you're both encapsulated. But then when you soften the boundaries or soften the defenses, like you were saying, like you melt, like one person melting them, and then all of a sudden they can just, it's like, right, it melts the opposite charge, and then the whatever you need, this becomes positive, this is negative, and all of a sudden it attracts it and just starts melting it along the way. Like, and then it can turn into something beautiful, but like we react to the other person's defenses. It's like I might be completely open and completely there, but then I run into someone else's defenses and it makes me defensive and like, oh wait, maybe it makes me question myself maybe,
Yeah.
instead of when you run into that completely open person, right? Like how easy would it be to just, right, with God or whatever you call the universe, like that is so easy. Once you experience that love, it's so easy to let it flow through you
Mhm.
and to just be in it. But when you deal with, and pet my dogs, they're similar. I feel like I could scream and yell at them and they're just sitting there right there. Hey mom, what's next? Love you. And like you just, oh yeah, I love you too. But with the person who has that hard defense, you're just, I don't know, it's so hard. I'm
Yeah.
not sure fun.
Well, yeah, because again, that is the thing that so many people are having that experience. Like you said, they know what it's like to experience the love and the forgiveness of themselves around their animals. They know when they're yelling and screaming and they're in a bad mood, their dogs are like, I'm watching you. Well, I'm gonna protect myself here. I love you, and this is cool, but I'm also gonna
Yeah,
be aware and I'm gonna make sure I'm good. I'm gonna get up and skirt out of here. I'm not gonna let you hit me. I mean, maybe some dogs would, and that's sad. But ultimately that the goal is just to allow you to move whatever those feelings are, but then come back to, you know, okay, well, now you're feeling better. So now I'm going to give you a good lick. Are we over this little thing? But
right,
the dog isn't taking it personal. The dog saw that as stress, like through that expression. And how often are we able to allow our human companions that same sort of thing? Like somebody walks in and they're huffing and puffing, or like you said, you're in a good place, and all of a sudden you walk in, or somebody else comes in, and you're like, dang, those defenses are big time, and fuck, that one's gonna get me. And woo, I just dropped a nipple. But like it's then when we're able to look over and be like, yeah, that's stress over there. I'm not sure if it's my stress, like my fear of facing whatever that behavior is bringing up in me, or whether they're going through stress, but I can see that it's stress. And in
right,
a lot of my spiritual training, that was one of the things that we were trained to let go of. Like, okay, if you can see that it's stress, then we don't need to look at that stress anymore. Now what we need to find is, what do you want? What do they want? Are those things the same thing? If not, I'm sorry, it's sad, it hurts, and that sucks. But then the two of you need to go in a different direction, or there's going to be more of this, you know? But if
right,
there is a want and there's a want, and then the two get together and then they move, the less you focus on the stress, the better. The more you start focusing on the solutions, the creativity, the curiosity, like what you were talking about together, the more then that's what starts allowing for that love experience to unfold. Like the dog doesn't have to sit and analyze with you about why you did what
right.
you did for
What did
how.
I do? Is it me? How is this, like, yeah, you're right. It just kind of takes a lot of that out of it so that you can just see like, oh, this person's going through something right now and leave it at that. I mean, not leave it there, but instead of coming back to myself and like, oh, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? What did it, or, you can just be like, oh, this person is stressed. I'm not taking it personally. So now I get to just be like, whoa, okay, I can see you're stressed. Is there something I can help you with? And maybe you would find out that maybe leaving them alone for a while would be the best thing to do. And that they are, but it's really neat to not, I guess, maybe hold people's stuff, but not take it in and make it your own. Because
Mhm.
then that creates that even more stress, right? Like you're talking about where the dog wouldn't do that. We'd just be like, are you done? Are you feeling better?
I'm ready to play. I could really use a snack. I'd love to go for a walk.
Right?
Are you ready?
Can I,
Yeah.
can I come love you again? Are you willing to accept my love right now? Oh, one of my dogs just got a little like, what?
Huh? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take your love.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many other places that we could go with that, but I'm gonna have us come to a close on this conversation. Mostly, again, what I wanted to invite or what I wanted to share with the YouTube world out there is just how much fun it is to come and have these conversations and find the places inside of ourselves with other women. And I feel like there's so much more power in that than in any of the concepts that we were just moving around. But it's this coming together and playing with concepts and allowing ourselves to be responsible for our own feelings and then say those things and say them out boldly in a room and everybody's like, okay, well, but what about this and how about that? And tell me more about this, that it helps us sink into who we are, so then when we're going and playing with that in our worlds around us, it becomes a little easier and a little easier and a little easier. I don't know, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's a great place to come and be able to be vulnerable and to, I mean, honestly, I've seen myself inspire vulnerability in others by being able to be vulnerable. And it opens up that question, and it's a safe place to come and discuss these ideas and dive deeper without the standard societal rules, I guess you would say. And it just, I don't know, for me, it's that beautiful connection, and it just really makes things worth it. It brings so much joy and satisfaction to my life.
That's so awesome. So here's our invitation to anybody who might be listening to consider joining us in April at the next cohort of the Phoenix Method. Otherwise, you're going to see a couple videos of us here playing, but we would love to have you come and play. And like I said, we're not missing out if you don't join us because we get a kick out of each other.
Yeah, like, subscribe, come join us. Don't come join us. There'll be plenty of sessions to join us in the future. The time will catch you when it's perfect.
Yes. All right. Thank you all. If you've been listening and thinking, I want to be in rooms like this, that's exactly what the Phoenix Method is all about. It's real women talking about real things in the way real women do without rushing to answers and just being in a safe space that allows you the time to find your own answers. We'd love to have you join us when the time feels right for you. Until then, we'll see you back here.